start. Yes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. Last week we talk about the matter Monokarma. So the matter Monokarma arises at the arising moment of rebirth linking consciousness. Avijja pacha sankhara, because of ignorance, sankhara is the volition of good and bad karma. Because of sankhara, vijnana arises. Because of good and bad karma, so we have a rebirth linking consciousness. So the matters caused by karma or born of karma, so they arises at the arising moment of rebirth linking consciousness. So actually we have learned in last week. So those matters, born of karma, will arise every single moment of moment or arising. Even now, we that there are a lot of material phenomena born of karma. So actually, those karma are past karma. Past karma means the karma that you accumulated in previous life, as well as in this life. So the karma you did yesterday may cause may produce material phenomena right now, like this. We have 18 matters born of karma. So you can look at page number 247. 247. 5 sensitive matters, eye, ear, nose, and 10 and body sensitivity. Then 2 sexual phenomena, heart base and light faculty. So these 9 matters are exclusively born of karma. These 9 matters exclusively born of karma. They arises because of karma, not because of other causes, not because of cheda, not because of weather, temperature, or not because of the food, or not because of the environment. So actually, I have explained earlier. So according to Abhidhamma, here 2 sexual phenomena. Our sexual orientations are because of karma. Because of karma. So those arises at the arising moment of rebirth linking consciousness. As soon as rebirth linking consciousness, those 2 sexual phenomena arises. Exclusively because of karma. The 8 inseparable matters, the space element. So these 9 are born of 4 causes. Born of 4 causes, because sometimes because of karma, sometimes cheda, sometimes temperature, and sometimes food. So these 9 are born out causes. I think if you know all these 18 matters born out karma, I think easier for you to go to next session. We will refer back to this one. Next one, matters born out cheda. Actually, some material phenomena, the matters arises because of cheda. So when you are angry, the material phenomena born of anger will arise. So when you have compassion, the material phenomena born of compassion will arise. So those material phenomena are called matters born of cheda. We have a 75 chetas. We have a 89 chetas, right? 89 chetas. So among them, we have to exclude the 4 immaterial sphere resultants and the 2 subtle 5-fold sense consciousness. Tripancha Vijnana. So we have to exclude 40 matters. 40 chetas. So the rest of the chetas, 75, produce material phenomena born of consciousness. So if you look at this one, all the 12 unwholesome chetas will produce matters. (75 chetas, excluding the 4 immaterial sphere resultants. So here I will give you the reason why. You can look at page number 248. The 4 immaterial sphere resultants cannot produce matters because they arise only in the material realms. In the 3rd chapter, we have learned that 5 material and immaterial resultant chetas perform only 3 functions: rebirth linking function, and light continuous function, and also the death function. Only 3 functions. So that means the immaterial sphere resultants. So these 4 chetas are the rebirth linking chetas, or light continuum bhavanga, and death consciousness. So they perform only 3 functions. So that means in the immaterial sphere realms there is no matter, no rupa. For that reason, the cheta that perform the function, only in that realm, only in immaterial realm. So will not produce any matters. For that reason, so we have to exclude 4 immaterial sphere resultant chetas. So they will not produce any matters, any material form. So even though comprehensive meaning of Abhidhamma does not mention, so we have to understand that in the immaterial realm, so only 49 chetas can arise. Only 49 chetas can arise. So we have learned in the 3rd chapter, at the end of the 3rd chapter, only 42 chetas can arise in the immaterial realm. So that means at the moment, if somebody is, if somebody was born in the immaterial sphere realm, so other than 42, so the rest of the cheta will not produce any matter. I think it will be very confusing. Just take note only this one. Four immaterial sphere resultants cannot produce matters. The reason is they are the cause of taking rebirth in the immaterial realm. Because immaterial realm, no rupa. The two set of fivefold sense consciousness. Two set of fivefold sense consciousness. So that means we have a two chetas or the eye consciousness, good and bad. Ear consciousness, nose consciousness, and body consciousness. Tongue consciousness and body consciousness. So these are called two set of fivefold sense consciousness. Vipancha Vijnana. So they lack the power to produce matters. They don't have the powers, or they are lack of power to produce material phenomena. Actually, in the second chapter, I hope you still remember that two set of fivefold sense sphere can associate only 7 universal mental factors. So these 10 chetas are the weakest. The reason is it can associate with only 7 universal mental factors. You know, when we study consciousness and mental factor, so we have to as a chetana and also a feeling, perception, all these, you know. So when we compare with the Cheta and Chetasika and 12, how to say that? How can I say that? So we have learned association of Cheta and Chetasika. So among them, so these two set of fivefold sense consciousness are the weakest. They can associate with only 7 Chetasikas. Only 7 Chetasikas. So when we learn great wholesome Cheta, Mahakusala, great wholesome Cheta, so they can associate with 38 Chetasika. 38 Chetasika. They are very powerful. So when we are learning supramundane Cheta, supramundane Cheta can associate with 36. Like this, they are very powerful. And akusala and unwholesome Cheta also can associate many Chetasika. But among them, two set of fivefold sense sphere consciousness is the weakest because it associates only 7 universal Chetasika. But here also, it is too weak that they cannot produce material phenomena. Then you can look at page number 248, right? 248. Another one, the rebirth linking consciousness. Actually, it is not mentioned. It is not mentioned in the Manual of Vedanta, but Bhikkhu Bodhi mentioned in the note. Bhikkhu Bodhi mentioned in the note. The rebirth consciousness also cannot produce Cheta-born matters because it is just a new karma in the new existence. So actually, in the new life, we have a rebirth linking consciousness. That's the first one. And second one is after rebirth linking consciousness, Bhavanga. Then after Bhavanga, like this. There will be 60 Bhavanga. Only after 60 Bhavanga, then there will be mindful advertence. After mindful advertence, Javana and retention, dharamana, etc. So here you have to understand that in our life, the first cheda in our life is rebirth linking consciousness. Then after that, bhavanga. But here, the matters born or cheda, actually the matter born or cheda will arise, the arising moment of the first bhavanga in our life. After rebirth linking consciousness, bhavanga arises. So actually here, the matters born or cheda will arise at the arising moment of the first bhavanga in our life. But here, rebirth linking consciousness also cheda. So rebirth linking consciousness will not produce any matters. The reason is, it is just a new karma in a new life. It is the first chedas arises in a new life. For that reason, stay very weak, just like a new karma. For those who come to Mangala Vihara for the first time, too weak, right? Will not know where to go, where to sit, and who to talk. So these are new karma, right? New karma. Just like a visitor. Suppose a visitor come to your house, and somebody will come in, and another one want to get permission to stay in the house. But as he is a new visitor, he cannot guarantee, he cannot permit to stay in the house because he is a just visitor. But here also, rebirth linking consciousness, the first chetas in our life, it is stay too weak. For that reason, that cannot produce any matters. Only the first bhavanga, at the arising moment of the first bhavanga, will produce matter. For that reason, we have to mention this one also. The rebirth linking consciousness also cannot produce cheta-born matters because it is just a new karma in the new existence. Another one, heart base of rebirth linking consciousness is also too weak that it cannot produce matters. So when somebody take a new rebirth, as I earlier said, that body sensitivity and heart base and also light faculties, these three. So here, like heart base is too weak that it cannot produce matters at the moment of rebirth linking consciousness. Understand? Question? Oh, good idea. Good idea. Should actually very simple diagram. Very simple one. This is a rebirth linking consciousness. And second one is the bhavanga. The matters born or karma here means good and bad karma, our karma, will arise at the moment of rebirth linking consciousness. As soon as you take rebirth in this life, there will be the matters born or karma, right? Now we are talking about the matters born or cheta. So we have 4 causes of matters. So we just finished one cause, karma. Now we are learning another cause, it's called cheta. So this rebirth linking this rebirth linking consciousness also chaita, right? Chaita. But this chaita cannot produce matters. So the reason is it arises for the first time in life, stay very weak, just like a visitor, just like a newcomer in new place. So for that reason, even though it is chaita or consciousness, it cannot produce matters. But the matters born of chaita will arise at the moment of bhavanga. Only at the moment of bhavanga. The first bhavanga in our life. So, arising moment of the first bhavanga. For that reason here, Bhikkhu Bodhi, actually Bhikkhu Bodhi just write, how to say that, commentary explanations. So, rebirth linking consciousness cannot produce matters. The reason is too weak. That's all, right? That's all. So, only bhavanga chaita can produce matters born of chaita. Okay? Very simple diagram. Another one, the death consciousness of arahants. It is not mentioned in the book, even in Bhikkhu Bodhi book, but you have to take note this one. The death consciousness of arahants also cannot produce any matters. If arahant dies, if the Buddha dies, there is no more life, no more existence, no more matter, not even chaita. For that reason, in Brahmajala Sutta, the Buddha said that if you cut the cluster of the branch of mango fruits, you know, mango trees, it bear mango branch, mango cluster of mango. So if you cut the branch, right? The stem, sorry. If you cut the stem, all the mango cluster in the stem will go down. Just like that, the Buddha said that when you can see the Tathagata, you can see me. But if I die, if I pass away, you will not see me anywhere. So that means after Arahant or the Buddha die, so there will be no existence, no new existence, or no new rupa. That means that consciousness of arahants will not produce any matters. But normal people, as a Puthojana, even non-returner, their death consciousness will produce matter. For that reason, when we die, there is a death consciousness. Then, as soon as we die, and we will have a rebirth consciousness. Together with rebirth consciousness, there will be material phenomena. Then that is because of death consciousness. But in the case of death consciousness of arahants, after they die, no more matters. For that reason, you have to write this one, right? You write in your book. Okay.
Just for discussion, how about the death consciousness of Anagami? Anagami is a non-returner.
Anagami is non-returner, and the
But the death consciousness produces Chitta.
yeah, of course, yes. When non-returner was born as a five material realms, and he or she will have a material phenomena in the five material realm. But if non-returner was born in the immaterial realms, there will be no matter. But anyway, as long as you are not arahant, still have that consciousness will produce material phenomena. Okay, okay.
So the arahants, I guess, refer to those who have quick jhana, fruition, quick jhana, fruition, arahants here will refer to those who have quick jhana, parachitta. Is that right? Or two sense?
Actually, arahant do not have any craving, any form of craving for, especially craving for existence. For that reason, whether arahant attain jhana or without jhana, it doesn't matter. Any death consciousness or any arahant, death consciousness or any arahant. Okay, over there.
For those non-dependents,
Yeah,
they only born in the pure box before they reach arahant.
yeah.
So to do that, they are in that rank.
Yes, yes. Pure apple, they still have a material matters. The body, they still have a body, and they still have other faculties.
So non-dependents will not be born in any other rank except for the prophet.
I have to think.
I thought that's what
Yeah, most of the Sutta mention, yeah. So if no Ratana was born, they go to pure abode. But actually, not necessarily. I think, according to Abhidhamma, actually we have learned that no Ratana can go to either five material realm or immaterial realm, even the immaterial realm. They can go. But when they were born in immaterial realm, they still have a consciousness or mind, a mental factor, and they can continue to practice. So when they practice, when they contemplate their mind, the characteristics of their mind, and they can attain, they can become arahant, even in the immaterial realm. Or actually, no mind, just body is a asinya satta. So asinya satta is the place only for Puthojana, not for even Ariya. For those who became Ariya, Sotapanna, Sakara, Anagami, Arahant, they will not go to asinya satta. Asinya satta is only for Puthojana. For those who attain jhana, for those who disgusted their state of mind, then they are likely to reborn in the asinya satta. But Nuratana can go five material and also the immaterial realm. I think if you learn, I think we should go back to fourth chapter. So in the fourth chapter, it is mentioned where the Nuratana can go. Nuratana will not come back to 11 sensual planes. Okay?
Just to clarify, so it means that the arahant is here with no the arahant is here, it can be either in the rupa, arupa, or the vichara, no?
Rupa, Arupa.
And vichara.
Sorry?
Vichara realm, is it? Talking about spheres of existence,
Bhante, my question is same as hers.
Yeah.
Where do you find arahants? Because all along I thought arahants are only in Bhutikara.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you find arahants?
In the human realm, Arahant can find the human realm and six heavenly realm, and 20, no, 90, you know. Except Asinya said Brahma realm where only the matter or the body exists, no mind. Except that realm, and the other Brahma realm, we can find arahants. But and the many commentaries said that for Arya who was born in the sixth heavenly realm, and they don't want to stay there, and they were dying, you know, by the power of their determination, and they were born in the either Brahma realm or the human realm. So here, arahant can be found in the human realm, even the 6 heavenly realms, and 90 Brahma realms.
So, Supra Pandey Uttara is not a realm, right?
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
So we can't say that arahants can be found in Uttara?
No.
We say arahants at the Lokuttara consciousness, right? Is that it?
Yeah, it's very important, actually very important question. In Theravada, according to Theravada, there's no such a realm for arahants and the Buddha. It's clearly said that, actually in many sutta, the Buddha gave many examples. As I earlier said that in the Brahmajala Sutta, so the first Sutta of Digha Nikaya, at the end of the Sutta, the Buddha said that, now you can find me, the Tathagata, you can find the Tathagata. When the Tathagata passes away, you will not find anywhere. And you can read Brahmajala Sutta at the end of the Sutta. Another one is the Aki Uchakoda Sutta. So in that Sutta, the Buddha gave the simile of fire. Simile of fire. So in that Sutta, the Buddha said that so when we have a fire because of wet and because of what is it? Kante, wick, another one because of threat. Two reasons. Wet and wick. Yeah, you are wick. And wet and wick. Because of that, the fire arises. If there is no more wick, if there is no more wet, you cannot find the fire, and you cannot see where fire go. You cannot say that fire go somewhere. You cannot say. Just like that, if arahant or the Buddha die, you cannot go. You cannot say that the Buddha or arahant goes somewhere else. Nowhere you cannot find, because they totally extinguish craving of existence. That's very important. In especially in Mahayana, they have a pure land. So according to them, you can find the Buddha and Arahant there, in the pure land, pure abode. Actually, according to Theravada, according to the suttas, it's not so. Because I think it's very important as a human beings. You know, we have a lot of craving to existence. So we always think, if we die, where we go? Craving for existence, right? For me, I always say that I train myself not to crave, not to think about next existence. So that doesn't mean I don't believe next existence, but I believe, but I don't want to think about it, because if I think my next existence, and craving will arise. I want to be born in a better existence, a better life, with too much intelligence like this. You know, when I was young, I used to think that I went to Westbourne at the time of Puja Buddha Arithmetic. But now I no longer think that such a way. I no longer think about it. So I just focus this life. Do not think about next life. But I do not know when the time comes. The day is drawing near. If I'm going to die, I don't know whether I still have a much craving to next existence. So I think that the Buddha's attitude is very clear. Just focus this life. Do not have craving for existence. So I think that is very important. For that reason, as we have human beings have too much craving to our existence, then they don't want to hear. If Arahant and the Buddha die, their existence will totally extinguished, just like a fire. Nobody want to think. And among the Buddhists, especially among the Buddhists, they always think that they don't want to attain Nibbana because in Nibbana there's nothing to enjoy. Because when I was young, I still, clearly remember an accident. How to say incidents. At the time, I was only 30 years old, only 13, and one of the monks is talking to brother monks. I don't want to attain Nibbana. The reason is, in Nibbana, there's no TV. By that time, TV is luxury items, luxuries. So actually, for that reason, he said that in Nibbana, there's no TV. No more. By that time, no handphone, no smartphone, just TV is considered a luxurious items in Myanmar at the time. So when we went to watch a movie or when we went to watch football, we have to go to one place, very rare. He said that in Nibbana there's no TV. For that reason, he doesn't want to go. Actually, we cannot say that we go to Nibbana. No, Nibbana is not a place. Nibbana is a place that you can experience with your mind, not normal mind, supra-mundane one. Magga and Phala, right? Magga and Phala. So I think that here also, I think as a Thitapara, it is very important to understand, to get better understanding. So after Arahant of the Buddha time, no existence, just like a fire. If the candle light is extinguished, we cannot see where the fire goes. Simply, the fire extinguished because there is no fuel. Here, fuel means craving for existence. That's very important as a Buddhist. Normally, as a normal people, we crave our body. We crave the body of other people. For those who became non-returner, for those who became Arahant, they always say that the burden of the body is very heavy for them. Very heavy for them. Normally, we have to use a lot of time, to sustain our body. We have to eat it. We have to take a shower. We have to take care of our body. A lot of burdens. So Arahant and the Buddha, they clearly see, the burden of the body. For normal people like us, we have a craving to our body, but we cannot see the body. For that reason, we crave for it. Okay. Then the death consciousness of Arahants also cannot produce matters. We call it the last path in the samsara. The matter bodhicitta springeth starting from a rising sub-moment of the first bhavanga. The first bhavanga in our life. The first chaita in our life is the rebirth linking consciousness. After rebirth linking consciousness, bhavanga arises. So here, the material phenomena or the matter, born or karma, will arise from the arising moment of the first bhavanga. So the first bhavanga, we have three set moments: arising, present, and ceasing. So these are three set moments. So actually, last week we already learned that the consciousness is the most powerful at the moment of arising. So the material phenomena, rupa, is the strongest, the most powerful at the moment of presence. So you have to know this one. These matters, bodhicitta, arise every single arising set moment of the mind. Actually, we have a mind moment. Mind moment, some are good, some are not good. Every single arising set moment of the mind, of consciousness, they will arise until we die. Oh, sorry. Actually, last week I didn't talk about this one, right? According to commentators, mental phenomena are strongest at the moment of arising, upada. Material phenomena are the strongest at the moment of presence. Because lifespan of consciousness or chaita is very short, only arising, present, and passes away. But the lifespan of rupa is very long, 70 mind moment. So at the moment of presence, 49, right? 49 set moment. For that reason, the material phenomena or rupa are the strongest at the moment of presence. Question? No question, right? Okay. Bodily postures. Iriyapata. Page number 248. Page number 248. Bodily postures. Among 75 chaitas that produce matters, we have learned that 75 chaitas produce matters. Among them, 26 apana jawana chaitas. 26 apana jawana chaitas. Also, here, also very important, also perform the function of the upholding of bodily postures, upholding of the bodily postures. So among 75, we have a 26 apana jawana chaita. Here, apana means jhanas. We have a mahagata jhana and lokuttara jhana. But here, jawana means wholesome chaita and functional chaita. And we have a 5 wholesome, 5 material chaita, and 4 wholesome material chaita. So altogether 9. And we have a 5 immaterial functional chaita, and we have 4 immaterial functional chaita. Altogether 9. 9, 9. That means 80, right? 80. And you can combine with the 8 supramundane chaita. 80 and 8, altogether 25. So 26. 26. Together with the supramundane, 8 supramundane chaita. So they are called Apanajawana chaitas. 26 Apanajawana chaitas are also perform the function of abhorring all the bodily postures. So 75 chaitas produce matters. Number 1, right? 75 matter produce matters. Number 1. Number 2, among 75, 26 Apanajawana chaitas also perform the function of abhorring all the bodily postures. Actually, to make it very simple, if you meditate, you attain jhana. The moment you attain jhana, if you are sitting down, your body is not moving. Those jhana will support. Those jhana will support your posture, sitting posture. Suppose you are lying down, then you meditate, then you attain jhana, then you can stay for many hours, the lying down posture, because of jhana. So jhana can support your body, your posture, lying down. If you are standing, so as I do not have a jhana right now, I cannot stand. I cannot stand for a long time. My body is moving. But if somebody is practicing jhana, attaining jhana at the moment of standing, then he can stand for many hours because of jhana. So for that reason, Apanajawana chaita or jhana chaita, they can support your bodily postures for many hours. Here it also is very important. Also, in Pali, feet. They produce not only these 26 produce not only normal matters, but also they perform abhorring of bodily postures, sitting, standing, and lying down posture. Not sleeping. So I think to make it very simple, when you attain jhana with the sitting posture, so that jhana chaita can support your sitting posture for a long time. So that means these 26 are among 75. So it performs producing normal matter. Another function is abhorring or supporting the bodily postures. For that reason, the Buddha said that he compared the happiness of himself and happiness of Kim Bimbisara. And he said that Kim Bimbisara cannot enjoy happiness without moving his body for 1 hour. But the Buddha said that he can enjoy happiness and he can enjoy bliss without moving his body for 7 days. For that reason, his happiness is higher than happiness of Kim Bimbisara. In one of the sutta. For that reason, jhana can support our bodily posture to stay to stay very steadily. Understand? Okay, very easy. Yeah, okay. The next one, the determining consciousness, and 29 sense-sphere Javana Chetas. 29 sense-sphere Javana Cheta. What are the 29? Still, how to go back? Here we have a 29 sense-sphere Javana Chetas, 12 Akusala, 12 Anhusan Cheta, and we have a smile producing Cheta, and 30, and we have a 8 great wholesome Cheta, and 21, and we have a 8 great resultant Cheta. Altogether 29. So these are 29 sense-sphere Javana Chetas. Resultant Chetas are not Javana. 2 direct knowledge, Abhiññāna. 2 direct knowledge. 2 direct knowledge are from 5th jhana. From 5th jhana, we have a 2 wholesome 5th jhana and 5 material 5th jhana. Wholesome and functional. For Arahant, functional 5th jhana. And for normal people and also for trainees, so they are wholesome 5 material jhana cheta. These are 2 direct knowledge, Abhiññāna. So here Abhiññāna means after you attain the 5th jhana, then you want to go to somewhere. Then you determine your mind, I want to go there. So as soon as you determine, you are there. Suppose you want to visit Bali beach, then you're trying to attain the 5th jhana. Then after attaining the 5th jhana, your mind is very, very pure. So pure that it became like a polished mirror. So you don't have any defilements in your mind. When the mind is beautified, the mind is very powerful. You can do whatever you want. Even the Buddha, he became the Buddha after attaining the 5th jhana. But here, if somebody attained the 5th jhana, then he went to attain direct knowledge or a special knowledge, knowledge. Then he went to visit Bali or maybe somewhere. Then you determine your mind, I wish to go there. As soon as you determine, you can go there. That is a direct knowledge, Abhiññāna, very powerful. Actually, we have learned in the 5th chapter. I hope you still remember, right? Still remember. The 2 direct knowledge also, here also is very important, produce bodily and verbal intimation. Bodily and verbal intimation. So because of the mind, my body is moving, that is bodily intimation. Because of the mind, I'm talking. So my voice, a verbal speech is a intimation, verbal intimation. Normally for those who attain jhana, they do not speak. Their body is not moving. But when somebody determined to attain direct knowledge, they can speak and they can move their body. They can walk, they can talk. For that reason, 26 jhana Javana Cheta can perform normal matter as well as they support our bodily postures, not to move. But here, direct knowledge can move your body, can speak. For that reason, it also produces bodily and verbal intimation. But here, determining consciousness. So when you determine something, you can move your body and you can speak you can use your verbal intimation. Among the 29 sincere Javana Chetas, when you are greedy, you can move, you can speak. When you are angry, you can move, you can speak. When you are deluded, can do that. And also, when you are doing good things with the great wholesome Chetas, so you can move, you can speak. You can move your body and you can speak. So that is called bodily and verbal intimation. But even though it is 5 material jhana cheta, if you attain direct knowledge, a special knowledge, a special attainment, you can speak, you can move your body. As I earlier said that you want to go to United States, then you try to attain 5th jhana, and you determine to go there. You don't need to buy a ticket. But when you go to United States with the direct knowledge, you can speak with your family, you can talk, you can go freely. That is called direct knowledge. Because of that, direct knowledge also can produce bodily and verbal intimation. Right? Here also is very important. Not only produce these 32, not only produce normal matters, not only perform abhorrent of postures, but also activate bodily and verbal intimations. So these 32 chetas can produce bodily and verbal intimation as well. 26 Apana Javana cheta cannot speak, cannot move. So it's very still. The body is not moving, do not speak. Even when you attain the 1st jhana, no speaking. Question? I hope you understand, right? Okay.
Which are the direct knowledge?
Chitta. Out of 89 chitta, which are the 2 direct knowledge chitta?
Oh yeah. Actually, we have a 5 material wholesome cheta and 5 material 5th jhana wholesome cheta. For Puthojana, for trainees, for Arahant and the Buddha, 5 material 5th jhana functional cheta, 2. Actually, we have learned in 2 places, in the 3rd chapter and also in the 5th chapter. So these are 2 chetas, special knowledge. Okay. Okay, let's go. Among 32 chetas, that produce intimations. Among the 32, actually we have taught 32, right? Determining and 29 sincere javana, and also 2 direct knowledge. Among the 32 chetas that produce intimations, the 30 javana chetas. Among 32, we have a 30 javana chetas accompanied by joy. Actually, this is problematic pronunciation. Joy, right? Joy. Accompanied by joy, Somanasa also produce smiling. So when somebody smile, they will use one of the 30 cheda. So here also is very important. Those 30 Javana chedas not only produce normal matters, not only perform abhorrent postures, not only activate bodily and verbal intimations, but also perform smiling. It can smile. Those 30 Javana chedas. So I think among the 12 akusala, we have a four cheda. Among 30 Javana cheda that produce smiling, an ordinary worldling. I think we have to calculate 30, right? 30. So here, 30 means among the 12 unwholesome cheda, we have a 4 cheda rooted in greed, accompanied by joy. 4, right? 4. And we have a smile producing cheda, 5. And we have a 4 great wholesome cheda accompanied by joy. And altogether 9. And we have a 4 great functional cheda accompanied by joy. Altogether 30. I think you have to understand that one. Got it, right? Among the 30 Javana chedas, an ordinary worldling Puthojana, may smile and laugh with any of the 4 chedas rooted in greed, lavamula, accompanied by joy. So if you suppose you are greedy, then you want to get something, you try hard, you got it. You are very happy, you smile. So if your action is, your attitude is wrong, associated with the wrong view, you know that is not right and wholesome, so that is dissociated from wrong view, like this. So after you got something, because of greed, then you smile and you laugh at. Then sometime with any of the 4 great wholesome chedas accompanied by joy, then after offering something, you smile with the wholesome cheda. After keeping precept, you enjoy it, you smile. And after meditating, and you know that you have done a good deed, a good job, you smile. Then you can also smile with any of the 4 great wholesome chedas accompanied by joy. So that means, as the ordinary person, ordinary worldling, Puthojana, so we can smile, we will smile any one of the 8. And 4 rooted in greed, 4 rooted in good. Right? So that means these are smiling chedas for ordinary people. For trainees, they will smile with one of the 6 chedas. So here, one of the 6 chedas means 2 chedas rooted in greed, accompanied by joy, but dissociated from wrong view. For trainees, just like a Trainees here means Sotapanna, Sakadagami, and Anagami. 3. They are state training. They are state training. They need to train to become Arahant, to make the enter samsara. For that reason, they are called trainees. The trainees may smile with one of the 6 chetas, and 2 cheta rooted in greed, accompanied by joy. They know that doing unwholesome deed is not good. But anyway, after doing such a unwholesome deed, they smile because they rejoice what they have done. So they will smile. 2 cheta rooted in greed, accompanied by joy, dissociated from wrong view, and any one of the 4 great wholesome chetas accompanied by joy. So when they are doing good things, they will smile, and they will. Now even we cannot say that they will laugh. Maybe when they laugh, so that means with one of the 2 cheta rooted in greed, rooted in greed. Got it? Understand? Not difficult, right? Not difficult. Okay. Then Arahant and the Buddha may smile with one of the 5 chetas, the rootless smiling producing cheta, Hasitopara, smile producing chetas, and the 4 great functional chetas, 4 great functional Kriya cheta, accompanied by joy. So they will smile with any of these 8 chetas. For that reason, when we learn Lakkhana Sanyutta in Samyutta Nikaya, Venerable Moggallana is going for Pinapada together with Bande Lakkhana. Then Venerable Moggallana smile in one place. So Venerable Lakkhana know that there must be a reason to smile. Without a reason, Arahant will not smile. For that reason, he asked why. Then Venerable Moggallana said that, do not ask this question. So you question me in front of the Buddha. We are still on the way to Pinapada. Then they come back. They went to in front of the Buddha, and Venerable Lakkhana said that, Bande Moggallana, in one place in Kechakuta, you smile. Why? Venerable Moggallana said that, I saw different type of petas. Different type of petas. I think chapter 21 I did. Lakkhana Sanyutta. And you can go and read different type of petas. So unbelievable. Cannot believe, normal. Because the Venerable Moggallana smile, not because he is happy. Just want to show the reason, And sometimes also the Buddha smile. When the Buddha smile with smile producing cheta with the reason. But sometimes Arahant and the Buddha may smile with any one of the 4 great functional chetas. 4 great functional chetas. There's no wholesome or unwholesome. They just smile.
Asking this question from the people children.
Okay.
Why did Venerable Moggallana smile when he saw the petas?
Okay. I think the answer is given in the commentaries. Actually, I can't remember exactly. The reason is, I guess. So that is Venerable Moggallana attained for the first time. The peta are too big that cannot compare with the human body. different type because of their unwholesome deed. So when Venerable Moggallana saw those Vedas, he think about his attainment, direct knowledge. He have a direct knowledge. He can see them, special knowledge, and this is the first time for him. Because of that, he displays his mind. As I earlier said that he went to show his mind to Venerable Lakana. He went to tell this accidents. So Venerable Lakana as the Buddha, as Venerable Moggallana in front of the Buddha, and the Buddha said that after attaining my enlightenment, I saw those Vedas. The Buddha said that I didn't tell anybody, because if I tell somebody, so there are such creature, such Veda exist, they will not believe. That will be how to say that? That will be not good for them. For that reason, the Buddha said that I didn't tell. Then the Buddha told why they became like a Veda. Actually, the commentary just mentioned that. I don't like what the commentary mentioned. The commentary mentioned that Venerable Moggallana is happy for his attainment. Because of that, his mind. Actually, it's not satisfactory. The answer is not satisfactory. Actually, for that reason, I said that I want to show the reason why. Actually, maybe I want to share a very interesting legends in Myanmar. In Myanmar, if there is a big mountain, we have a legends. Normally, many places, the Buddha visit Myanmar, and he predict Buddhism will flourish this place. And when the Buddha arrived in one place, the Buddha displayed his mind. And Venerable Ananda asked why in the Buddha's mind. And the Buddha said that in future, in this place, the king in which name, one of the king, under which name, will establish a kingdom, and he will provide all the necessary for Buddhism. The Buddhism will flourish. Actually, that is just a legend. But people in Myanmar, they literally believe it. Even though we tell them, this is just a legend, it's not a truth. But they will not believe. They just take it as truth. Here, what I want to say is the Buddha and Arahant, they display his mind. They want to show the reason, right? They want to show the reason. They want to tell something. That is mind producing Chaita. But sometimes, Arahant or the Buddha, they will like to hear something, they will like to see something, they will smile, because any one of the four great functional Chaitas. Four great functional Chaitas. Not because of greed, not because of liking and disliking, not because of wholesome or unwholesome, just functioning.
So they just smile. Just say it out.
Not smile producing is just for just want to say something. If when we read the Sutta, the behavior and appearance of the Buddha is very gentle, very gentle. Normal people, those people who are not close to the Buddha, they will not understand. But Venerable Ananda know it. So the Buddha do not speak orally, and the Buddha show, with the bodily appearance. But smiling also one of them. Okay? Interesting, anyway. So Arahant and the Buddha may smile with the one of the 5 Cheda. Another one interesting one is 2 Cheda rooted in hatred are the causes of crying. That's not mentioned in the book. But I no time to find out the source. Actually, when we are teaching in Burmese, we use the book written by the Lannamangs. So actually, they always mention that crying Cheda. We have not only smiling Cheda, we also have crying Cheda. We cry because of 2 Chedas, because of rooted in hatred. 2 Cheda rooted in hatred. You don't like it, you don't like the situation. For that reason, you cry. Hatred or anger. That's not mentioned in the book. 90 Chedas, so that means 3 mind elements. 3 mind elements. 3 mind elements mean 5 door adverting, and also 2 receiving consciousness. 3 mind elements and 11 retentive Chedas. 11 retentive Cheda. That means Dharamana or registration Cheda. 11 registration Cheda and 4 or 5 material resultant Chedas can produce only normal matters. So these Cheda can produce only normal matter. Okay? Page number 248, right? 48. Any question? Then no question. Let's go ahead. Now we just finished 2 courses, Karma and Cheda. So actually we are learning 4 causes of matters. So there are some matters born of temperature, because of temperature, because of the weather, Utu. Beginning from the state of presence at the moment of rebirth linking. At the moment of rebirth linking. I have to show the diagram again. So this is a rebirth linking consciousness. So rebirth linking consciousness has a 2 sub-mind movement, arising, present, and passing away. Arising movement, the matter born of karma will arise. At the present moment, the matter born of temperature will arise. Right? At the moment of rebirth linking. So here, what is temperature? Temperature means the fire element. Utu, fire element. So here, fire element means cold and heat. It can be cold, it can be heat, anything. That is fire element. Fire element, we call it fire element as a temperature or weather. So when you say weather, sometimes the weather is very hot, the weather is very cold. And we can say that weather or temperature. So fire element produce matters born of temperature. Born of temperature. So from the state of presence of rebirth linking consciousness. It produces matters whenever it arises at the stage of presence of matters. So here, temperature is not Cheta. It is material phenomena or matter. So the lifespan of matter is 70 moment. It's very long. So when you are talking according to Sep moment, 51 Sep moment. And then the first one is a rising of matter, and the last one is cessation of matter, and 49 at the middle are called present. So every material phenomena or matter are very powerful and very strong at the moment of present. But here, temperature is matter. So its strongest time is the present. So it arises from the presence of rebirth lingam consciousness. Whenever it arises, whenever the matter or the fire element arises, at the moment of presence, it will produce matter. Now we are very, very hot, right? Hot weather or hot temperature will produce the matter. When we are very cold, cold weather also will produce the matter at the moment of presence. Temperature. Then number 4 is nutriment or the food, ahara, the food. The internal nutriment known as nutritive acids. Internal, we have a nutriment in our body, internal one, supported by external nutriment. So we have a nutriment from outside, water, food, all these are nutriment. Supported by external nutriment, produce matters at the moment of present. But here, nutriment also material phenomena. For that reason, its strongest time is the present. At the moment of presence, Titi, starting from the time it is swallowed. Starting from the time it is swallowed the food. So as a baby, here actually Bhikkhu body write this one. The nutriment taken by a pregnant mother pervading the body of the embryo originates matters in the child. So when you was born in the new life as an embryo, the mother eat food, the embryo will take it. At the moment of swallowing, the material phenomena, born of nutriment, will arise. Right now, we are eating food. We are drinking water. Then as soon as you swallow, at the moment of presence, all those nutriment, the matter will arise, born of nutriment. So here, actually, what we want to say is we have 4 causes of matter or material phenomena. Material phenomena arises because of 4 causes. Some material phenomena because of karma, some because of cheta, some because of temperature, some because of nutriment or food. So these are 4 causes of matter. Okay. Question up to now? I hope. Let's go. Next one. Analysis by way of origins. By way of origins. Actually, this one we have to study according to sequence. Matters born of one origin. The following matters are born of one origin. Ekacha Rupa. Page number 251. Page number 251. Number 1. 9 matters are born of only karma. Only one origin, that is karma. So 9 matter means 5 sensitive matters, 2 sexual phenomena, light faculty and habits. So these are 9 matters born of only karma, only one cause, only one cause. I think we have to learn this one. It's important to, without learning this one properly, so you cannot go to next one. The 2 matters, that is a medial intimation, bodily intimation, verbal intimation, are born of only consciousness. So I'm talking because of Chaita. My body is moving because of Chaita. Bodily and verbal intimation has only one cause, that is consciousness. That is consciousness. So altogether, these 21 matters have a one origin. 9 matters only because of karma. 2 matters only because of Chaita. These are called matters born of one cause or one origin. Matters born of 2 origin or 2 cause, Dvija Rupa. Number 3, sound, setup, is born of consciousness and temperature. Sound is born of consciousness and temperature. So we have a sound, right? Sound here means sound here means sound. sorry. It's born of consciousness. Because of the mind or consciousness, then you can hear the sound. Because of the weather, you can hear the sound. Sometimes windy, hear the sound. Sometimes raining, hear the sounds. So the sound is a born of 2 origins, consciousness and temperature. Matters born of 3 origins, Dvija Rupa. 3 mutable phenomena. 3 mutable phenomena are lightness, malleability, weightiness. So these 3 are born of 3 origins or 3 causes because of consciousness, temperature, and nutriment. Your body is light because of your mind. Your body is heavy because of your mind. And your body is malleable and weightiness because of the mind. Sometimes because of temperature or the weather. If the weather is not good, you feel like heavy. If the weather is good, you feel like very light. Your body is very light. And nutriment, after eating heavy lunch, you cannot come to the class because you are very sleepy and your body is very heavy. You cannot move about. So that is the lightness, malleability, weightiness. All these food is one of them, or nutriment is one of them. Matters born of 4 origins. Matters born of 4 origins. 9 matters arise from 4 causes. 8 inseparable matters. We have learned that 4 great elements: color, taste, nutriment. Another one, 8. The 8 inseparable matters and space elements, so they arise from 4 causes. 4 causes. For that reason, 8 inseparable cannot be separated. So when you were born in the new life, even though as an embryo, very small, very tiny, even you cannot see with a powerful microscope. And when next chapter, next session, I will explain what the commentary said about embryo. So even in tiny, very little embryo, there are 8 matters will arise because they cannot be separated. Even the tiny particles consist of 8 matters, small tiny particles, right? Matters do not arise from any causes. Nakutochi samutara. 4 characteristics of matters. 4 characteristics of matter mean protection, continuity, decay, and impermanence. They do not arise from any causes, not because of any causes. The reason is they are just the characteristics of matters. Characteristics of matters. They are not real matter. They are given the name because to show the manifestation of the matters. So when matter arises, we give 2 names: protection, continuity. So when the matter is growing, getting older and older, we give the name decay. When the matter passes away, we give the name impermanence. So these 4 are just manifestation of the matter. For that reason, they do not call these matters are just names. For that reason, they do not have any causes. So I think up to now, so we have learned 4 causes of the mind. So I think we need to understand the matter born of 1 origin, the matter born of 2 origin, etc. You need to know. Otherwise, it will be a bit difficult to understand these sessions. So I think here I want to repeat again. So to analyze all the matters by way of their origins. So we have 4 origins, right? So here, firstly, 9 matters are born of only karma. Because of karma, they arises. 5 sense matters, 2 sexual phenomena, light faculty, habits. So these are 9. These are born of karma, purely born of karma. And 2 matters, bodily intimation and verbal intimations, are born of only consciousness. Only consciousness. Matters born of 2 origins. Sound or Sattva is born of consciousness and temperature. Sometimes because the sound arises because of weather, sometimes because of the mind. I'm talking not because of the weather, because of the mind. Matter born of 3 origins. Ticca rupa, 3 mutable phenomena. Lightness, malleability, weightiness. So these matters arises because of 3 causes. Consciousness, sometimes because of the mind, sometimes because of the weather, sometimes because of the food. Three mutable phenomena. So based on these one, we will learn the cluster or shade. The cluster or rupa or matters. If you know this one, very easy. If you do not know, confusing. You will not understand. Matters born of four origin. 9 matters, the 8 inseparable and space element. So they arise from 4 causes. The matter do not arise from any causes. That is 4 characteristics of matters. The reason is they are just the manifestation of matters. So they are given the name based on the characteristics of matter. So they do not arise from any causes. Na kutochi samauthana rupa. Any question? Okay, so I think for next session we'll go next week. Okay, let's close our class. Okay, thank you everyone.